Hey folks, Evil DM here, and I'm back for another episode of the MEGS DC Heroes Start Learning the System. This week I'm going to start a series of character creation, and this is part 1 basics here, just handling the attributes themselves. A couple people had some questions about that, and obviously I'm following along with the 3E book here, so I'm going to look at this and try to go over it easily so you understand how it works, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just wanted to go over it for some people out there that still had some questions on how this works. But basically, when you start the game, you are given 450 hero points to design your character up. Unlike a lot of other superhero games when you had to randomly roll back during this time frame, or you had to pick off a certain charts, this one allowed you to really design your character based on points and design your character how you wanted him or her to be. Now, every character is assumed to be a human unless you decide otherwise with your hero points when designing him, because there are certain limitations on human heroes, and you'll see that as I go over each one. So 450 hero points, you're wondering, okay, so what? 450 hero points is the equivalent of like Titans level gameplay. If you want more or less, you have to ask your GM. Generally, if you want like street level games, like, Green Arrow, Batman-ish type games that are all just street level, which is just basically low level or low level campaign, you're going to want to go with like 200, 225 hero points, maybe even less. Batman, the role-playing game, is a good idea to use, which is only 1.5 rules, though. But it's a good basis to do a street-level type game, which I run many games with. You just kind of have to refer back to the 3E rules for some clarifications and a lot of things that are missing. It's up to you. The game, it's a really cheap book. It's like less than $10 everywhere to buy. And if you're unsure about it, because this 3E book is really expensive if you look on eBay or on Amazon, going anywhere from $60 to over $100-something, because it's a out-of-print game. It's not developed anymore, so you're going to have a hard time finding it. So unless you get a PDF somehow, you can print it up yourself. I mean, there's file shares out there. I'm not going to illegally file share something for you, so I'll just say do what you need to do. Anyway, as long as you're not selling it, who cares? But I guess that's still bad, but whatever. Also, Blood of Heroes is available out there for anybody that wants Blood of Heroes. I particularly don't care for Blood of Heroes. I didn't like some of the things that he did in it, and I've already explained that. To each their own. If you want to grab Blood of Heroes, that generally trends from $15 to $25 on Amazon. Go for it. Anyway, back to how this works. So, you have a 450 hero points to design up your character, and you have to actually look on a chart depending on the stat. We're going to handle attributes or stats today, like dexterity, strength, body, intelligence, will, mind, influence, aura, and spirit. Depending on which one, it has a certain factor cost and a certain factor chart you have to look on for which one it would be. Pretty simple. Action attributes like dexterity, intelligence, and influence do a factor cost of 7, and we'll go to that chart in a little while and do like an example just right quick for you. All other ones like strength, body, mind, aura, and spirit are just a factor cost of 6. All right. So when we break the things down to what dexterity represents, a character's physical agility and nimbleness when getting around. Most of them fall between 5 to 7 when that's a normal human hero range. Now you're asking, all right, so 5 to 7. Okay, so we can look on, in the book they actually have little examples next to the stats, which start on page 18, which starts with dexterity. So the average normal human person that can perform activities with daily living is a 1 to 2 AP. All right. Now, the average hero is 5 to 7 range. So 5 to 6, 7 to 8, that's the range you're talking about. So 5 to 6, a person possesses agility equivalent to the individuals who are well-honed in athletic prowess as gymnastics, stuntmen, and circus aerialists. Examples they list are Animal Man and Cyborg. 7 to 8, the individual is agile enough to be able to be a medal-winning Olympic gymnast, like such as example as Aquaman, Blue Beetle, Starfire, Vandal Savage, Deadman. I don't know about Vandal Savage, though, because he is kind of more of an immortal, but yeah, whatever, I guess so. But 10 is the cutoff for humans to be considered a human. That's it right there. That's like Batman, Ra's al Ghul. Well, Ra's al Ghul is another one of those. It's weird. Cobra with a K, and Bronze Tiger are some examples there. But anything over 10, you become an augmented human, aka metahuman, or like an alien, or some type of weird race you want to make up for the game. It's up to you. But anytime you get over that top human ability, you have to kind of make a reason why you have that. So it's cool. It'll help you make your backstory. Why not, right? So next we hop over to the strength. Strength represents a character's ability to lift weights and withstand duress and stress on their body. All right. So the average human is 1 to 2, which you can lift 200 pounds above your head, around there generally without a problem, depending on age and things like that. Now they're saying a normal superhero human is anywhere from 3 to 5, with 5 being the peak for human heroes. Anything over that becomes metahuman or augmented human. So let's see, we're looking at that, and 3 to 5. 3 to 4, as they lift here, a person with exceptional human strength equivalent to that of professional weightlifters, ranging from 4 to 800 pounds. They they list things like, Jonah Hex and Wildcat as examples. 5 to 6, where you're getting in the peak area. Well, again, 6 is more augmented, but 5, this is the level of maximum human strength, 5-6 area. 900 to 1,600 pounds, that they list Batman, Starfire, Hawkman, and Creeper. Though I don't know many humans that can do 900 to 1,600 pounds. I mean, there are some that can do a lot, but 1,600 pounds? I don't know about that. But anyway, once you get past that, you have to look into becoming more of a metahuman or an alien or something like that. And obviously, you could do whatever you want when you're making your character up and design his backstory however the heck you want. Now we head over to body. This attribute represents a character's standard resistance to actual physical damage on his body. So the normal range is 4 to 6, and 6 is the peak. Over 6 is considered augmented. Now 1 to 2 would be a normal human is susceptible to normal pain stimulus. Basically a normal human, 1 to 2. When you get to 3 to 4, the body conditioned to withstand moderate damage without great pain. The individual can weather many blunt attacks, as in prize fighters or martial artists. So you're a trained, honed fighter. You're used to getting the crap beat out of you. You're a little bit better than more than the average person. So they're saying 4 to 5, 6 is the average superhero that's human. Okay. When you get over that, you become augmented. So example, 5 to 6 area would be like Batman, Bronze Tiger, the Warlord, and Jonah Hex. So just example. And those that are augmented, example-wise, over that, the people like Swamp Thing, Aquaman, Hawkman, Deathstroke, the Terminator. Now, Deathstroke is definitely augmented human, or maybe a metahuman, depending on how you look at him. But I think it's more like augmented, kind of like a whole, because of depending on the backstory you read on him, and if you watch TV shows and movies and things like that. So it really just depends. Now we head over to intelligence. Intelligence represents a character's ability to think rapidly, know facts, access information, hack things, stuff like that. Work technology, pretty much. So the average person here is 1 to 2, but 5 to 7 is the average hero range. There is no real limit on intelligence that they really say. If you look at the chart, I'm going as far as 16, 15, 13 to 15. The individual's intelligence is beyond what is normally experienced on Earth, with the ability to conceive concepts centuries beyond current conventions. And this lists Lex Luthor, the Brain, Jor-El, and the Pariah. I don't see a problem with going as high as you want. You want to blow the points on intelligence? Go for it. Why not? Maybe you're setting yourself up for like one of those genius, intelligent characters. So there really is no actual limit on that. So you're pretty good there. Next, we're going to head over to will. And this represents a character's ability to draw conclusions and his or her own willpower in general. So for will, It's 3 to 6 is the normal range, and there's no actual limit here because 3 to 6. Let's see if we go to 7, 10. Yeah, they really have no. There is no like actual. Yeah, looking at them, even going as high as 28 to 30, the individual is resolute enough in the face of universal destruction, such as like the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and Guardians of the Universe. So there really is no human level on that, so you don't have to worry about if you bust that skill up all the way. I mean, bust that attribute up really high. It doesn't really matter for that. Let's see. We also just did Will, so we're going to head over to Mind. This attribute is a measure of the character's resistance to mental stress. 4 to 6 is the normal range for superheroes. There's no actual limitation on this, though you probably would cap it at 13 to 15 unless there's some type of background reason. Because at 13 to 15, a person with this level of mind is accustomed to dealing with alien or inexplicable phenomena or problems outside of any human experience. Generally, when you're creating your superheroes, you are creating ones that are humans that somehow got augmented or blah, blah, blah. Unless you have a GM that wants to go the whole route that you're an alien and everything, that's fine. 19 to 21 is godlike intelligence, a godlike mental stamina like Darkseid, Guardians of the Universe, and Chemo. Excuse me. So that was Mind. Now we're going to head over to Influence, which represents the power of a character's personality and presence, and how he acts around others. The average influence is 3 to 4, and that is listed on the chart as this person has the persuasive ability to hold and draw the attention of a small audience. And they list most minor entertainers, like maybe a comedian at a club, or maybe an MC at a concert or something like that. And there's no like major cap on this because, I mean, you can cap it depending on your campaign based on like 13 to 15. The individual can easily garner the attention of an individual from another species, and they list Spectre and Demon on that one. So, Spectre and Demon, sorry. And then they can also list like 16, 18. This person can attract the attention of powerful personages such as demons and the Lords of Order and Chaos without effort. And they list Dr. Fate there. I could see that happening because he's more of into the whole mystical arts and stuff like that with that background. So it really depends on your GM and what campaign they want to run. Now, for Aura, this attribute represents a character's ability to intercede with his or her personality to affect the actions of others, and also indicates his or her level of magical power. Basically how they interact with life and magical power. So, the range for this one is 3 to 5. The normal superhero human is 3 to 5, and the higher you go, it really depends. There is no real cap on this. It really depends on the GM, how he wants to run his campaign, but 28 to 30 is the top here of the list. The individual's presence stretches beyond the confines of the universe. I don't think you're going to have too many starting characters with that. Plus, the pointage for that one would be so high, you'd blow everything on that. But, yeah. And finally, we got Spirit. This attribute represents the character's ability to withstand mystical stress and is also a reflection on the character's general spirit and resolve in life. 3 to 4 is normal for this. 3 to 4 is the person's spirit is equivalent to that of an individual who can weather an assault on his or her core beliefs. They list Changeling, Checkmate Knight, things like that, Ice. So there's no real cap on this. So if we go to the maximum, 28 to 30 plus they listed as, this person is spiritually pure or invulnerable. A condition attainable perhaps only in the state of nirvana. And they only list death there for that example. So that might be a little extreme there in the descriptions. Now, obviously, creating more powerful characters, it depends on your GM. Some of them, if you want Justice League style characters or Justice League of America style characters, you're going to want to multiply the base by a couple, maybe give them a couple thousand maybe hero points. It really depends on what level of gameplay the GM wants to do when designing up the game. But like I said, we will go over to the chart so you can get a good idea of what it looks like. So let me just change the old view here for you. And this is the chart that's on page 30 of the book. Now, like I said, everything would go under a certain factor cost. So let's see. Action attributes, dexterity, influence, and intelligence are 7. So if you would start under this column where my mouse is right here, and you would say, okay, I want an attribute point of 10. Okay, we go 10, we cross, boom, 112 points right there off your 450. That's pretty hefty right away. But there's always another way to get more points, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Now, the rest of them will be on a 6 other attributes. Like I said, we're strength, body, will, mind, aura, and spirit, which is a little bit cheaper. So, you can go nuts here if you want, depending. So, say you wanted like a 5, boom, 24, not that bad. Okay, so we've conquered that. We understand that. We're thinking about our character, the background. We're going to start doing up his stats. Now you're like, oh man, I really want that 10 and dexterity. But it's going to cost me 112 points. That's a lot. Well, is another thing here called drawbacks, and drawbacks, which we'll get to in another video, will give you hero points back as you're creating. So what you could do before you create your character is look over the advantages and drawbacks, because those are going to cost points and give you points back. I suggest looking at your drawbacks right away and talking to the GM, because there also is a miscellaneous one. So in case something doesn't fall under the standard ones listed in the book, you can always make one up with the GM's approval and get points based on that. So if you want more points, hit those drawbacks up, take a look at them. Some of them you can play up to make your character more interesting. Think of it, advantages, disadvantages, advantages, drawbacks, same type thing, but think of it that way. So next video, we'll do part 2. We'll talk more about creating characters. I just wanted to give these little basics out of the way, and see you next time, folks.